Okay, perfect. Okay, then let's start our today's webinar. Today we have a very interesting topic again, Fusion 360 or Fusion by Autodesk. It's top 10 common issues and solutions working with Autodesk Fusion CAD Tool. So as always, I would like to ask you to turn off the cameras, turn off your sound, and if you have some questions, just write them in the chat. And we will prepare a survey in the chat, sort of a questionnaire to check on your previous experiences with Autodesk Fusion to evaluate your background and shape the webinar in one or another direction based on those answers that you will provide. First, I would like to start with an intro about WiredWhite, what we do and why we do it. So we envision us and our platform, our network that guides individuals throughout the entire process of becoming an engineer, growing as an engineer. And we see our role as sort of enabler by bringing customers on one side and partners on the other side on our platform, and provide them absolutely all necessary tools to cooperate and to achieve their project goals on the platform working with our tools. And why we do it? Because we see our mission in acceleration and optimizing the electrification worldwide. We believe that this is possible through the enablement of global cooperation, providing the platform to cooperate on, providing the tools, and sharing the knowledge. And today's speaker is Jay Atish Rao. Jay Atish has over a decade experience, hands-on experience in mechanical engineering and industrial consultancy. Jay Atish is passionate about driving innovation, efficiency, and transformative learning in every project that he works on. And he is an Autodesk certified user and professional. He has a Fusion 360 certification as a certified user, Clear Fit certified team leader, and Certiport certified proctor. And he has honed his skills in CAD and CAM design and training. In 2015, he participated and attended Autodesk Global Summit and managed multiple Autodesk authorized training centers, ATCs, where he worked to bridge the gap between the technology and education. Teaching and empowering others is part and cornerstone of his career, and Jay Atish has developed and launched over 20 online courses already, where he had the honor to teach over 5,000 students worldwide until now. And he's also proud to have co-edited the book called Making Your CAM Journey Easier with Fusion 360. It's published by Pact Publishing, which serves as a guide for professionals looking to elevate their CAM experiences and expertises. And now I would like to pass the ball to Jay Atish to go over the topic and over the technical slides.
So I can quickly brief regarding the slides, what's going to be there in the webinar. And yeah.
Yes, please go ahead.
Is my slides are visible?
Yes.
All right. Sorry for the delay. Let's begin with this webinar. So this is all about how students are making certain mistakes in Fusion 360 and certain features they are not understanding. So first we will quickly know about the first mistake, that is the sketches that are not aligned to the origin and which causes difficulties in constraints and modeling. Second mistake is partially defined or underdefined sketches, which can lead to unpredictable geometry changes during edits. Thirdly, uh, the difference between making a pattern using a feature or a sketch. Next would be how to understand the actual flow from sketch
We,
to
we,
feature.
we see always the same slide, Jayatish. Maybe it's not in the presentation mode, or I don't know, on the wrong screen. Yeah, now I can see the
Okay,
switching. Yeah.
got it. So fourthly, we will get to know about sketch to feature flow. This is the very basic mistake many students are making, and sometimes when we are trying to extrude something and we are not able to do so, that kind of mistake is also going to be covered in this webinar. Then we will discuss about the difficulties creating reference copies of sketches without manual duplication. That would be using a zero offset value. Then we will get to know about the most common type of sweep mistakes and 3D sketch mistakes. We will know about certain shortcuts as well. And finally, we will wrap up with a very lesser known thing in Fusion 360, that are workshop and events. And finally, the ACU examination and how to get it done. So I will be starting with each one of them one by one. All right, so big to start with, the first mistake that students are doing, that is, they are not aligning their sketches to the origin. Aligning sketch to the origin, that means you are not, if you are not involving the origin in your sketch, then definitely you will going to have problems with providing with the constraints and the modeling you are doing, or the component assembly also. So it is always recommended to involve the sketch, involve the origin in the sketch, just like this. In this sketch, the origin is involved. So it is highly recommended that you involve the origin in the sketch in order to provide constraints, in order to provide a good flow to the 3D modeling. The next thing is the constraint sketches. So here, as you can see, there are three kind of sketches. The first one, this one is a fully constraint sketch. The next one is a partially constraint sketch. And the last one is a completely under constraint sketch. It's not constraint at all. Constraint means a set of rules that we are defining so that it will not go haywire, and the sketch will not change by simply a click. Just like in this one, if you are clicking any of the edges, they are changing the form, which is obviously not recommended, because if you have a set of dimensions with your sketch, this should not be happening. Second one is a partially defined sketch. That means fluctuation is there, but certain rules are there and certain restrictions are there. But here, the fully defined sketch, the first one, here if you're trying to drag any of the edges or any of the sketch entities, it's not going to happen, because there's a set of rules defined here. So that set of rule is, first, what? Involving the origin, and second, providing dimensions with reference to the origin. This is what a fully defined sketch is. So simply put, black is good and blue is bad when it comes to Fusion 360. Thirdly, the third mistakes the students are doing, is to have a difference between when to use pattern in sketch and when to use pattern in features. So patterns are what? Patterns are similar kind of sketch or 3D model entities. As you can see here, both the 3D models are having same dimensions, same everything, just color is different because for sketch one I chose a blue coloration, and for feature one I have chosen as this orange kind of coloration, but everything else is similar. The properties, the material properties, the what we call density, everything is same, material is same, but here pattern, in this one the green blue one, the pattern is provided with reference to the sketches. As you can see in the timeline, if you want to change the number of patterns, you can change it by changing the sketch, but in case of feature you can simply change the number of quantities in feature and it will be automatically changed. So it's basically upon your choice how you want to get it done. But when we can we export this file as a .f3d, see, uh, the model with feature is 74.9 kilobyte, and the model with uh, 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 pattern created with sketch, it's 62.5 kilobyte. So it makes a lot of difference when you are working with complex geometries. You are working with complex models. So it is always recommended to go for, it's always recommended to go for pattern with sketches whenever it is possible. Next is the flow of sketch to model. As you can see here, it's a stepped geometry. So there is certain layers of extrusion going on, certain layers of push pull is going on. So in this case, initially we started with a sketch, and after that, over that sketch, we use the push pull uh, tool or the extrude tool, and we created this particular 3D geometry. And then again, we created a sketch over that, and then again we extruded. Again another sketch, and then again extrusion, another sketch and extrusion. So this is the perfect flow when it comes to sketch to feature module. But most of the time what student does the mistake is that they don't understand when to use this particular flow. Let me replicate this mistake. I'm creating the similar kind of sketch. So here we followed certain steps. One sketch, then a 3D feature, that is press pull, then again a sketch, then a 3D feature. But here the most common mistake students are making, they are trying to create the sketch first hand. So what they will do, they will just invoke the offset command by pressing O in the keyboard, and they are creating the sketch here itself. I think 4 steps are sufficient. So when it is done, now comes the harder part. Then they have to select all these regions and press pull it. Now for the next step, they need to switch on the sketch and they have to select all the other regions, which is a very difficult task. There is a shortcut for the same. You can long press left mouse button and you can select the profile. But for each and every profile, you have to make this selection. And if you are not holding control button, then the selection will be gone. So it is always recommended when you are working with the stepped geometry, when you are working with the multi layers, you should always create a sketch followed by a feature, that is a press pull feature, then again a sketch and followed by a feature. So that is highly recommended. Next is a very known issue when it comes to Fusion 360. That is, students, they are not able to find a place to extrude because there are certain gaps in the geometry. So in order to address the same, you can edit the sketch in the timeline and you can simply start. L is the shortcut for line. Okay, so you can simply start by creating certain lines in the sketch itself, a zigzag pattern of line. So whenever you're finding that there is no bounded region, if bounded region is there, that means your sketch is getting closed. If you're finding that there is no bounded region, then that means the issue is in that particular region itself. So here itself, we found that this region is having some issue. So you can create a V with line command and you can pinpoint which region is having issue. And when you zoom in, you can find out that there is a gap here. So what you can do, you can use the constraint that is called coincident constraint and you can join this gap and it will be closed. But again, as you can see, there are still gaps in this sketch. So you can again start using the line command. You can create V kind of shape here. So till now there is no gaps. So again, you can start from here. And as you can see, you can find a gap over here because it's not getting bounded. So when you zoom in, you can see again one gap is there. So you can use the coincident constraint again. And the gap is filled. But still, you're not able to extrude it because again, one more gap is there somewhere. So again, you can follow the same process. You can create a V and you can check. So you can see that one more gap is there. So you can again use the coincident constraint. And your sketch is now ready for a extrusion. You can finish the sketch, select both the profiles, right click, press pull, and it will be ready. So I have selected the logo of Tesla for this. I don't know the reason, but yeah. And in this regard itself, we can check the render workspace. Here, most of the time, what we are doing, we are using a simple render option to render the image. But in my opinion, we can use in canvas render for more realistic kind of rendering. It will take some time, but it will create more realistic rendering. So this is very highly recommended. Okay, next is the difficulties students face while creating reference copy of sketches without manual duplication. Let's say, for example, in this particular model, you want to create an exact replica of this particular face in a sketch. In that case, what you need to do, you need to create a sketch over this, and you have to basically trace over all these points. But instead of that, what you can do, you can invoke the offset command by clicking O on the keyboard. You can simply select the whole region, and you can you should not provide any distance. You should put it as 0 itself, and it will create an exact replica of that particular region. So this is what 0 offset trick is all about. You can use this trick for any complex geometries, and you can you can create different geometry on the same. Next, we are going to discuss about the most common mistakes when it comes to using sweep command. So let's create a path for the sweep. Just a line. You can left press and keep on pressing the line command. It will create an arc. And again, this. So generally, what students keep on doing mistake here is that they don't take care on which plane the path is made and on which plane the profile is being made. So always take care to involve the origin in your sketch. If you're involving the origin in your sketch, you can simply pinpoint where to provide the profile. So here, since the front face, the front plane is having the path, you have to take the side plane for creating the profile. Now you can simply use the sweep command, select the profile, select the path, and you are good to go. Now when it comes to sweep command, you can also have analysis. You can have a curvature map in which you can check the Gaussian stress, you can check the principal minimum stress, you can check the principal maximum stress. You can have a zebra analysis to see the curvature, and all this will come very handy when it comes to pipe design. Next is the mistakes everybody makes when it comes to 3D sketch. Now, what is a 3D sketch? 3D sketch gives you the freedom to create freely in all the 3 dimensions, the X, Y, and Z planes. Everywhere you can create a sketch. So for that, you need to switch on 3D sketch option in the sketch palette. And then when you invoke the line command, and you can switch on the isometric view from the view cube, you can see that this different kind of denotation is appearing in the screen. So when I'm clicking on the origin, you can see this blue color line. This blue color line is for one axis. Green color line is for one axis, and this red color line is for another axis. So let's start drawing the 3D sketch. So I'm going through this particular axis. Then when the green coloration is coming, I am going upward. Then again, when the blue coloration is coming, I am going this side. Again, this side. So when you press Shift on the keyboard and center mouse button, you can see the 3D sketch is ready. So you have to always take care that the axis is activated with their coloration. If the axis is not activated and it's not 90-degree, your 3D sketch is not happening at all. Next, we will understand certain shortcuts, and obviously we have to switch off this 3D sketch. So first one, the first shortcut is holding the left mouse button to select hidden profile. As you can see in this particular 3D model, there are hidden profile. This one is here, this one is here. So to select a hidden profile, you have to long press the left mouse button, and you can see you can select the profile, you can select the face. So let's say I'm selecting this profile and I'm press pulling it. I can create operations like cut, I can join, I can create a new body or whatsoever. So basically, the holding of left mouse button gives you the freedom to select hidden profiles. Next shortcut is you can press S on the keyboard, which invokes the design shortcuts menu, where you can simply write the commands. For let's say, for example, if you want to invoke the mirror command, you can write it here. If you want to invoke the midplane command, you can write it here. If you want to invoke let's say extrude, it is there. In extrude there are two options. The orange one, it is for surface extrusion, and the blue one is for the solid extrusion. So it's always recommended you go for the solid extrusion, not the surface extrusion. If you are working in the surface module and you are creating sheet metal kind of thing, then that is okay. The third shortcut is using tab on the keyboard for inputting dimensions. Let's say, for example, let's create a new sketch, or let's have it here. Let's say I'm creating a rectangle, and as you can see here, two dimensions are coming. If I'm pressing tab on the keyboard, it will change. It will change from one dimension to another. Let's say, for example, here I'm putting 20, and I'm clicking tab on the keyboard. I can put 20 here, and this will easily define the dimension, and this will easily help you in the workflow. Then comes the sketch palette. It is a very useful thing. You can always, even if you have accidentally clicked shift and center mouse button and your sketch is going haywire, you can simply click here, look at, and it will be back to normal. Then obviously there are constraints here. You can switch on the constraint, switch off the constraint. You can switch on the dimension, switch off the dimension. Construction geometries, if let's say, for example, if I'm converting this to construction line by clicking X on the keyboard, you can select this construction geometries to be shown or to not be shown. And obviously the points, you can hide the points or you can show the points. So this is how sketch palette works. You can use it whenever you want it, and it's actually a very beneficial palette's a very beneficial tool. Now when it comes to dimensions, you can check here. This is the browser. In the document setting, you can change the dimensions. You can change the units. Currently it's in millimeter. You can make it centimeter. You can make it meter, inches, foot, depend upon your choice of designing.
Judge,
Then comes
we cannot see the browser. Maybe this is because you have shared only one window instead of sharing the entire screen. Maybe that is the reason, but we cannot see the browser now.
Browser is not visible. Just
Not
wait
visible.
a second. Now I think you can see.
Yes, now it's visible.
Perfect,
Yes.
perfect. So in the browser, you can check the default dimensions. You can change the default dimensions. You can change it to centimeter, meter, inch, foot, or dimensions of your choice. Okay, now the data panel, is it visible? Yes, yeah. So this area
Yes.
over here, this is called the data panel. Now next one is stopping the chaining operation when you are working with line command. Let's invoke the line command. The shortcut for the same is L on the keyboard. So when you're using the line command, there is a kind of chain gets created when you're using the line command, and you need to know when to stop the chaining and how to stop it. There are three ways to do so. You can either press exit button on the keyboard, or you can press this what we call this checkbox over here, or you can simply press enter in the keyboard to stop the chaining command. And the way you are using it, it's up to you. I prefer to use exit command to end the chaining process. Now next shortcut is midpoint to midpoint dimensions. Let's say, for example, let's create a pentagon. You can create a polygon, you can create a pentagon, hexagon, or any kind of uh, quadrilateral using polygon command from create toolbar. Let's create a hexagon. Now let's say, for example, from here to here, from this edge to this edge, you need to provide the dimension. So if you're trying to give dimension by invoking dimension by clicking D on the keyboard, and you are trying from here to here, this will give you as a angle between them. But if you want to create a dimension, what is the distance between the midpoint of this edge and the midpoint of this edge? For that, you need to hold shift, then press D. You have to hold shift, and you can see the dimension is getting selected here, the midpoint is getting selected here, and the midpoint is getting selected here, and you can create the distance between them. You can give a dimension between them. This is by holding shift mouse shift button on the keyboard and then invoking the dimension command. This can be done. So this is creating a midpoint to midpoint dimension by holding shift. Now next comes my favorite shortcut, that is the quick dimensions. So for quick dimensions, let's say I'm selecting this particular line. You can see in the bottom, the rightmost bottom, the length, the sketch line's length is there. If I'm pressing control and then selecting the other line also, then the angles and everything will be highlighted. See here, if I have selected the three lines, the three edges, the complete length is there. So altogether, this is done for a quick measurement. This is done for knowing like a quick dimensioning of your sketch, and it's very helpful. And lastly, the last shortcut is about the slots. Slots you can create in the create toolbar. Here slot option is there, center to center, overall, center point, 3-point slot, center point slot, everything's there. So this one is a center to center slot. So when I'm invoking the dimensions by clicking D on the keyboard, you can see only midpoint to midpoint can be selected. But what if I need from this end to this end? Let's try it. Again, it is showing center to center. So in such cases, you have to invoke the dimension command. Just right click and you have to select pick circle arc tangent, because as of now by default the arc center is selected. So you have to select pick circle arc tangent. So when you are selecting that and then selecting these two arcs, arc to arc dimension can be done. So that's all with the shortcuts. Now we will propagate to a very important thing in Fusion 360. I think that data panel is visible. Yeah. So here we have workshop and events in the data panel itself. So here there are lots of events going on. There are lots of Fusion 360 challenges where you can showcase your skills. But my personal favorite is the education part. Here there are lots of projects are there, lots of assemblies are there. In the assembly itself, you can see and you can feel the type of joints in Fusion 360. The first one is the rigid joint, which doesn't move at all. Second is revolute, this one. Third is slider joint. So a revolute is like a rotation around one axis. Slider is the sliding motion along one axis. Cylindrical, it's like rotation as well as sliding motion. Then we have pin slot, then planar, and finally the ball joint. So this is a very fun way to understand the different kind of joints available in Fusion 360 and how to apply them. Everything is there. The next one is about motion link. Motion link is basically a relationship between two different kind of joints. Let's say for example here one rigid joint is there and here one slider joint is there. So this is basically actuator. This is freely moving from here to there. But what is required when we are rotating this screw, they should also move along. So for this, we can provide a relationship between them, between the joints. So for that, what we can do, we can go to the assemble toolbar, and we can create a motion link. Just select this joint, the revolute one, and the slider. And you can press OK. And when I'm rotating it, when I'm rotating this screw, as you can see, this is moving along with the screw. So this is what motion link is. And everything, this kind of things, this kind of animation, this kind of simulations, they are available in workshop and events. There are many such things regarding cam also. Regarding robotics also. So there are many such things. So you can keep your eyes open when it comes to workshops and events. And there are lots and lots of things are going on. And you can check the Autodesk website as well in order to understand what is the current competition, what are the current educational models put there. And finally, about Fusion 360 examination. If you want to appear in Fusion 360 examination, you need to give a Autodesk certified user exam. So for that, you need to go to Certiport. And here you can register for a certification examination. But in Certiport itself, the examination, the Fusion 360 Autodesk certified user examination, it takes like $100 to $120. So what I can recommend is you can go for Autodesk certified center, where you can book the examination for, let's say, $25 to $30 itself. So you have to search for a Autodesk authorized training center near me. So this is showing for my location. It will show for your location also. So if you visit this kind of centers, you can get the Autodesk certified user examination done at $25 to $30 maximum. Not as much costly when it comes to Certiport, where you can where you are directly paying Certiport for the examination, because these people, these certified training centers, they are having examination vouchers in bulk, so there you can purchase it. All right, so that's all, and I'm deeply sorry for the technical issues that happened in the beginning. I hope you enjoyed the webinar, and I'm open for the questions and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Jayatish. I will share my screen again and see whether we have any questions from attendees. Just give me a sec. So yeah, as Jayatish mentioned, we have now a question answer session. So I think we have already received one or two questions in the chat. So I'm gonna just put them into the chat. I think we could start with that one. I think it's a very interesting question. What features or workarounds do you regularly use yourself, Jayatish, in Fusion 360? So what do you think personally would be, let's say, for the beginners, not to overlook, what people mostly overlook or miss, and what are the favorites on your side, let's say, the features and workarounds, especially workarounds, I would say, yeah.
So if you ask me, that would be using the shortcuts on the keyboard, because generally I have seen students use the create toolbar and the modify toolbar, and they don't use the keyboard shortcuts. Because if you're using the keyboard shortcuts, in that regard, you can shorten the duration of your modeling process to 50%. Let's say, for example, you are using L for line, you're using C for circle, you're using R for rectangle. So that will shorten the time duration. So many students, they are not using the keyboard shortcuts. Keyboard shortcuts are very, very important when it comes to Fusion 360, and the way you are modeling, the way you are sketching. So yeah, that is there. So this is the most overlooked things, the overlook concept, overlook feature in Fusion 360 that students are forgetting to do so. That is using the keyboard shortcuts.
And what are the let's say, three top used by yourself? So what are the three common basic
I
ones
use
that
I
you use
use
regularly?
I use T for trim, O for offset, and obviously L for line. So these three keyboard shortcuts I use regularly.
Okay, interesting. Perfect. So, and we have, I think, one, let's say, a troubleshooting question. So if a person or a user tries to extrude or filter something in Fusion and he receives an error or nothing happens, what is your normally like troubleshooting routine? Where do you start, or where do you recommend to start to check what is going wrong? What's the reason of the issue for the issue? So, and what is causing it? So, like basically your troubleshooting routine if something is not working.
Yeah, got it. This thing I used to struggle a lot when I was starting with Fusion 360. This was like very painful to see when you're trying to extrude or fillet something, and it's not happening. And Fusion always comes with a let's say, for example, Fusion always comes with a error code. So always all the times there was something wrong with my GPU. There was something wrong going on with my GPU. So what I recommend is, whenever you are downloading Fusion 360, there is an option coming. That option says that, do you want GPU acceleration? So you have to check on that checkbox, and you have to make sure that you are using it for 100%. Very common example for the same is, like, if you are having a high end game in your system. Let's say, for example, you're having Forza Horizon. Many students must have played up that game. If you're having Forza Horizon in your system, and you're not allowing the game to use your GPU to the 100%, that game will lag. So that's the same thing happening with Fusion 360. You will not be able to extrude, you will not be able to put a fillet itself. It's a very basic operation, but you will not be able to do, because you haven't allowed Fusion 360 to use your GPU to the 100%. Using GPU to 100% is not a bad thing. This is why GPUs are made. They are made to be utilized to the 100%. So always make sure, when you are downloading software, make sure that you are opting for 100% GPU acceleration from your end.
Okay, interesting. So, and if let's say you're utilizing 100% of the GPU for Fusion, there is no like possibility or no needs for the parallel processing or of any other apps or any other programs or tools that are running in parallel with Fusion, because you have also your, let's say, Windows Explorer, you have your operating system ongoing, maybe you have some email tool opened. So these tools are not using GPUs at all, right? So you can really utilize 100% of your GPU for Fusion 360 tasks and Autodesk
Yeah,
tasks.
I would not recommend using two software at the same time, because both of them will be using GPU. Or you're having a game in the background, then you're also want Fusion 360 to run along with it. That is not recommended. You can have an Excel open, you can have your browser open, you can have anything else opened, but GPU acceleration will be focused only on the high end product. So you cannot have two high end product working simultaneously in your system, unless and until you're having a very high end system. Let's say, for example, a very high end gaming system, in which you can work with lots of softwares and lots of games all together.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. Okay, I understood. Thanks. So, do you guys or ladies, do you have any more questions for today for Jay Atish regarding the webinar, or maybe regarding the common issues or troubleshooting the issues in Fusion, because now is the right time to ask. In parallel, going to switch back to the PowerPoint. So if we do not have any more questions as of now, I would say I will switch to the next one and explain you a little bit about our online courses portfolio, what we have on WiredWhite.com. So obviously we have a Fusion 360, Fusion courses, online courses provided on the platform. So if you would like to, let's say, improve your skills working with Fusion, or you need to collect more experience with that, also from Jay Atish as well, you can always go ahead and purchase an online course. And after the webinar, you will be able to get a 10% discount for any purchase on the platform using those this code WiredWhite10. You will be able to purchase any Fusion 360 discounted. And if you would have a need or a desire to work on your particular project together with Jay Atish, I think Jay Atish would be able to help you in a consultancy hour or in a tutoring session together with you. So you can go ahead and use our partner network and book a session with Jay Atish to work on your CAD problem. I think that would be it from my side. Any final words or thoughts from your side, Jay Atish? I think that was a very nice webinar. Despite all the technical difficulties, I think
I'm extremely sorry for the technical issues, Dimitri.
We will figure it out after the webinar.
Yeah,
no worries.
Yeah.
Then I would say thank you very much for attending. Thank you, Jay Atish, for presenting and explaining, giving us some insights into Fusion 360 or Fusion issues or common problems and how to solve them. Was very interesting webinar. Thank you so much for your time and for attending. And I'll see you, or we will see you next time in one of the next webinars. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
guys,
Dimitri.
ladies.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Jay Atish. Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.